Welcome to Dynasty Life. I'm dropping another one of my Dynasty trades. Hopefully these trade videos at least get you thinking about your Dynasty rosters, about roster management, about acquiring rookie draft picks, about acquiring players, and generally just being an active Dynasty manager. This time of year is low-key a very good one to make Dynasty trades in. Everybody's trying to learn about these rookies. We're going to have a lot of movement when it comes to NFL free agents. We're going to have some franchise tag news. It's basically a little bit of hibernation post Super Bowl and then a big time ramp up. And I'm being active, and I think you should as well. And this trade was one that might be a little bit polarizing. I ended up trading in a $250 FFPC league. This is single quarterback. I made a big move. This team finished third in the final standings. Now, this team finished third last year. So I finished in the money, but not in the big money. The team has some really, really exciting pieces when it comes to fantasy football. This team has Jamar Chase. This team has DK Metcalf, Chris Olave, Jaden Reed, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. So extremely strong at the wide receiver position. Like a lot of my dynasty teams are. And then running back wise, Travis Etienne and Rachaad White were my main running backs. I made a move when Devon Achane was injured, and I traded for him. And the trade included this year's first round pick, which ended up turning into the 110. So it was really a positive trade for me. There were some other pieces involved, but that was basically it. It was the 110 and the 210 for Devon Achane and a couple other little pieces. But it was that manager was betting on, getting a higher pick at the time. Didn't work out well for them. Tight end wise, and this is FFPC tight end premium, Trey McBride. And then quarterback, I have Trevor Lawrence, who was a little bit disappointing last year, but still is a guy that you'd want to roster. And then in terms of depth, a couple of interesting players, Chuba Hubbard, Tucker Kraft, Demario Douglas. So largely this is a team without a whole lot of depth, but a lot of firepower at the top when healthy. But this was a team I felt like was getting a little bit stagnant. And I really did not want to miss out on having access to this 2024 class that I was extremely excited about. I also felt like Travis Etienne was a player that had a lot of positive steps forward last year, but a guy that I could be selling at a sort of a peak value. Travis Etienne finished as running back 3 overall last year. He took a significant step forward when it came to receiving work. He became a 58 reception player, which was really, a positive step for him. But his fantasy scoring was largely based also on touchdown scoring. He had 12 touchdowns last year, which that number could come in. It's going to be difficult for him to continue returning 12 touchdown seasons like that over and over again. And ETN, this could be kind of a peak market situation for him. I also am very, very into this 2024 class. I believe that there's some truly elite talents. And again, with the FFPC, by trading a player for draft picks, I'm freeing up a roster spot. So in this particular trade, I traded Travis Etienne and the 406 in the rookie draft, and I received the 103 and the 301. Now, the 103 gives me a lot of flexibility. It gives me a really significant rookie pick where I could make a future trade to try to trade up to 1 or 2 if I wanted to. It would be a quick trade up. It wouldn't be like trying to trade up from the bottom of the first round into the truly, truly top. Or I can simply stay at 103, and I'm going to have access to players like Rome Odunze, players like Brock Bowers, and there is a chance, due to the FFPC tight end premium nature, that if Brock Bowers is selected somewhere like 5 overall to the Los Angeles Chargers, then he could be the number 2 pick ahead of Malik Nabers. I think 75%, 80% of FFPC leagues, the 1-2 and single QBs has already been decided. It's going to be Marvin Harrison Jr. and Malik Nabers. But I think there's going to be always a little bit of mix of 1.02 contrarians that are going to consider selecting Bowers there if he lands perfectly. So this trade, after this trade, I am very thin at the running back position, which I'm not too concerned about. With the amount of firepower I have at wide receiver and the fact that I have Devon Achane as well as Rachaad White, 2 younger running backs who are both, either running back 2 value in Dynasty in White and RB1 value in Devon Achane. I also believe with Devon Achane could outscore Travis Etienne next season in fantasy. So I'm perfectly comfortable going in the year with Achane as my RB1 and Rachaad White as my RB2. And I wouldn't even be afraid to move one of them. I don't need to start any running back right now in March. I have plenty of time to clean up that roster. And what I do think is an interesting pick that kind of swayed this deal for me, initially the opposing manager wanted just Etienne straight up for the 103. But I really wanted to get another low-end second rounder or high-end third round pick. And getting the 301 does a lot of things for me in this class. I think that the 301 will be very interesting because the running back class is so beat up and the wide receiver class is so steamed up that I think that the mid to low second and the early third is going to open things up for a few enticing running backs for me to select. So I not only get the 103 and get a truly elite difference maker for my dynasty roster, but I also get that 301, the 25th overall pick, and I will have access to what I believe will be a player that can really help my dynasty roster. A lot of those early third round picks for me last year turned into Jaden Reed. There was a few years back in FFPC leagues where those early third round picks for me turned into Pat Freiermuth, who took a step back last year, but that was a player where you had not only fantasy scoring, but trade equity out of him with your dynasty roster. So the early third is always full of a few guys that pan out. Obviously, the hit rates go down the further you go down into the draft, but the 301 was definitely an enticing one for me. So what do you think about this trade? Would you take Travis Etienne or would you take the 103 and the 301? Let me know. Drop it in the comments and look for more of these trade videos right here on Dynasty Life. We've got you covered for dynasty trade strategy, roster management, and generally just trying to become better dynasty players by talking out the process. Stick with us at Dynasty Life all off season long. We're going to have awesome guests, and we're going to be dropping YouTube extra videos just like this one. Have a great week.
Hey, I want to take a moment to thank you for tuning in. It's important to me that all of our media be free. This is only possible because of you allowing a true independent sports media enterprise to thrive unlike any other in the business. So please subscribe to the All In Package to continue to make all of this possible, to ensure that all of our stats, information, data, content is available to you, especially you, the people that get the site and get the show.